Hi everyone, this is Jasmine Eckbach and I am recording my ACTE 655 Module 2 Erosion Bottles presentation. So I aligned this activity with a next generation science standard, develop a model to describe the cycling of water through Earth systems driven by energy from the sun and the force of gravity. So I think this aligned well with this activity because we are creating a model to show the hydraulic cycle and how it interacts with Earth's surface. And to execute this project, I am using the engineering design process: ask, imagine, plan, create, and improve. And so for ask, the question we are trying to answer is, what is the best land cover for a healthy watershed? And part of asking a question is identifying and researching. So I explored the runoff simulator that was provided to us on D2L and determined that depending on Earth's surface, there will be differing amounts of water runoff and infiltration. And so for imagine, a possible way to explore the best land cover is to create a model to test soil and land cover conditions, and this can be done through erosion bottles. So I started planning my project by drawing a quick rough sketch using these soda bottles and the different materials, and then how I would catch the water with string and plastic cups. So then I started gathering the materials that I would need for this project. So I gathered 3 soda bottles, 3 plastic cups, string, a watering can, soil, mulch, and grass from outside, scissors, a Sharpie, and a ruler. And so as I started creating my project, I started by taking the 3 soda bottles and drawing rectangles on each of them with the Sharpie to cut them out with the scissors. Once I cut the holes, I went outside and gathered my materials. So I filled one of the bottles with potting soil, one with potting soil and leaves, sticks, and debris from outside to create a mulch consistency, and the last one with a little bit of potting soil and a chunk of grass where the roots were still intact. Then I created 3 bucket like contraptions with a clear cup and string to hang over the opening of the soda bottle. Then I poured water into each of the soda bottles and collected the runoff in the plastic cups. You can see that the soil collected the darkest and cup with the most filtration, with the most like soil debris. The mulch was a little bit clearer, and the grass was the clearest runoff. And this is what the bottles looked like after pouring the water into them. So in order to improve this, if I was to execute the erosion bottles again, if I had time, I would have allowed the grass to grow in the soda bottle. That way the roots would have been more intact and I would have had less debris in the water runoff. You can see here is a picture of my water runoff with the soil. And I think because I put the potting soil, a thin layer of it on the bottom, that is the debris that you're seeing here in the cup. So I think if I did that differently, I would have less debris in the future. And I also plan to use a plastic cup to measure the amount of water I poured into each of the soda bottles, but I underestimated the amount of water I would need. And so I ended up taking my watering can and just pouring that straight into the bottles. And I will try to pour about a watering can into each, but I would like to use more precise measurements in the future. And looking at the STEM practices, this highlights science, engineering, technology, and mathematics practices. So you can see here for science, we are asking questions as defined in the first step of the engineering process. We are developing models by using the soda bottles to execute this model and planning and carrying out those investigations. And participants are engaged in argument and communicating information through the discussion board of this project. And this activity did not heavily involve technology, but by using the simulation at the beginning, students are learning how to use those simulations, and we're using that information to connect to society and real-life events. So here are some references that I used as I was executing this project, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else's. Thank you.